You are listening to Dear Texas Radio, where we encourage Texans to drop everything and read. Your host for today is B. Allen Bourgeois.
And welcome to Dear Texas Radio, where we do encourage you to drop everything and read. But if you've heard my voice before, you know I'm going to say, don't break it. We don't want you to drop something and break it. We do, however, want you to pick up a great book by a Texas author, lay back, relax, sit down in a comfortable chair, grab a glass of milk or a glass of wine, whatever your pleasure is, and relax and enjoy a good book. Let the troubles of the world just wash away as you get caught up in a fantastic story of romance or a fiction or sci-fi or fantasy, whatever it is that you enjoy doing. And we will have a guest with us here shortly who will be talking about her book. And, her name is LaRee Bryant. And LaRee, are you on the line?
I am.
Well, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
So you have a couple of books that we're going to be talking about. One of them is called Poppy Fever, and then the other one is Buttercup Blues, which is related to this. We have these listed, and I understand them to be cozy mysteries. Is that correct?
That is.
So explain to those people who are not familiar with that term, what is a cozy mystery?
Cozy mystery is not a hack and slash. The killings are a little more gently done and sometimes off screen so that you're not reading the really tough serial killer kind of mystery. It's a little more pleasant, a little humor in it, has to do a lot with the relationships and the fun of solving the mystery as opposed to catching the serial killer.
Okay, so the first one, a Poppy Fever. Poppy right off the bat, especially when seeing the cover image, has got a lot of people probably wondering, okay, is this the flower-related type thing or something else? What is the Poppy about?
The heroine in the book is a flower specialist who takes care of the plants inside of rich people's houses in the Dallas area. She takes care of all of that, not the outside, but the inside. And so she's in and out of those homes. She overhears conversations. She's privy to a lot of private stuff because she's just kind of invisible to them as she comes and goes, has keys to the places to get in and tend the orchids and the different things that she does. So that's where the flower theme comes from. It's her profession.
Okay. So she, by getting out there or just doing her job, is able to hear a lot of details. And from hearing these details or being around in those places, something happens, and she gets caught up in a murder mystery. Is that correct?
Right. Mm-hmm. She stumbles across those mysteries, and she suffers from curiosity terribly, and so she just can't quit till she tries to figure out what's going on. Now,
that curiosity, a lot of people say, well, kill the cat, but the nylons bring it back, or satisfaction brings it back. Is satisfaction of figuring these murder mysteries something that she really enjoys, or is there more to it than that?
Oh, she's having a good time. She likes tracking it down and finding out what's going on. The retired policeman who moves in next door to her and who keeps trying to keep her out of trouble is not so sure he wants her having such fun doing that. But between the two of them, it kind of becomes a romp trying to figure out what happened, what crime took place, and who's guilty.
And from romance kick in for Poppy and this cop?
Pardon me?
Doing the romping around and figuring out these mysteries, does a romance develop between Poppy and this ex-cop?
Sure, he's a hunk, so she's going to pay attention to him.
And she didn't think that would come into her life quite this way, did she?
Nope, she's a divorced lady, and she's kind of sworn off men for a while, but he's a little tempting, so it changes her mind.
What made you write a cozy mystery?
I like reading them. They're fun to read. There's almost always a little humor in them. And I set it here in Dallas, so I'm familiar with the area. I really like the characters. I built a whole community, and where they live, the neighborhood where they live, kind of functions like a small town atmosphere where people are close and help each other and involved. And since this is a series of books, there will be 6 or 8 or 10, whatever the stories will account for, and to keep it going. And I really enjoy the people in the story. They were a lot of fun to build.
Now, building these characters, I've heard a lot of authors say that a lot of them end up talking to the author in their mind and expressing that they want their own story. Has that happened to you?
Well, they're very definitely their own people. So it's pretty easy. If you've developed their personalities well, it's pretty easy to tell where they want to go and what they want to do.
And from the aspect of Poppy, of course, you've written a sequel. Is there going to be a separate story for the ex-cop, or are they going to be always together?
No, they'll be together.
Okay. And the other characters that are popping up from time to time, will you develop any of them into their own stories?
They will have stories. They may wind up being the person that's in trouble in a book, something going on in their lives that puts them in danger, and Poppy has to step in and solve the problem for them and take care of her friends and all. So there's people that are in and out of them all the time. Her next-door neighbors that she's very fond of, her very best friend, her ex-husband, customers that she takes care of their homes and the plants and flowers. So there are recurring folks that weave in and out of the stories.
Now, they always say that an author should write what they know. So what is it that you know that you put into these books?
Did a lot of research about the flowers so that I could talk with some intelligence about that. I do have gardens and flowers myself, so I enjoy it. And I grew up in the Dallas area. I'm very familiar with the places and the layout and the culture, and that was fun to write about home and things I knew about from childhood.
Okay. And real quickly, in the couple minutes we have left, where can people find your books?
Amazon.
Anywhere else?
Well, I know they can get them through Texas Authors, too.
Okay. And how can people reach out to you if they want to learn more about you and the stories you've written, and also the fact that you have such a wide career other than these cozy mysteries?
They can go to the website. It's just LaReeBryant.com, and LaRee is spelled Laree.
And background, if I remember correctly, has quite a history of historical writings and things of that nature. Tell me a little bit about that in the minute we have left.
I did 7 historical novels, long ones, kind of Gone with the Wind type of stories set against Civil War, the capture of Geronimo over in Arizona, the discovery of oil around Jefferson, Texas, a number of Western-based stories that are also either available now or coming up available again in a reissue.
And you also help people with their writing careers, correct?
I do. I've been a professional editor for people who are trying to learn how to write for about 20 years, and I really love working with the people that care about the writing like I do.
Okay. Well, we're going to step away for just a couple minutes for our sponsors to do their thing, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Dear Texas would like to thank our sponsors, EBG 247, where you can find ebooks galore 24 hours, 7 days a week at ebg247.com. Wimberley Valley Tourism welcomes people to explore the many fine shops, restaurants, and wineries that make Wimberley special. More at wvtla.com. McKinney, Texas's quaint downtown square, rich in history, entices visitors to discover its more than 100 eclectic shops and eateries. With origins dating back to 1848, McKinney is situated just 30 miles north of Dallas and 40 miles south of the Oklahoma border. One of the country's fastest-growing cities, McKinney maintains its authentic small-town atmosphere, which is palpable when exploring the downtown streets, taking a walk on one of the city's many nature trails, or even visiting the city's Croatian-style village. Learn more about what awaits you in this picturesque North Texas city at www.visitmckinney.com or call 888-649-8499. Bourgeois Media and Consulting, a book publishing consultant where creative inspiration is realized. More at bourgeoismedia.com. Texas Authors Incorporated, in association with the Texas Authors Institute of History and Drop Everything and Read Texas Incorporated, are proud to present the third annual short story contest. Entries can be submitted between March 1st through July 31st. Winners are published in an anthology that helps raise money for the Dear Texas Literacy Programs, which has helped raise over $15,000 over the past 2 years. To learn more on how to enter the contest, go to ebg247.com or txshorts.com. Contest is available only to residents of Texas.
In their 2017 award-winning techno-thriller series, Brakefield and Berkey take you on an engaging journey as cyber good guys duel against cyber assassins using technology, today's weapon of choice. Whether your cyber threat is fighting for your lost identity, struggling with a mutant computer virus, or being outmaneuvered by a digitally enhanced gaming avatar, you will enjoy this book series individually and collectively. EnigmaSeries.com will take you through a doorway into the digital combat of the 21st century.
You are listening to Dear Texas Radio, where we encourage Texans to drop everything and read. Your host for today is B. Allen Bourgeois.
And welcome back to Dear Texas Radio. It is a pleasure to have you with us, and we do encourage you to drop everything and read. Just don't break it. We don't want that to happen. But to help you determine what to read, our show is always talking about authors, and specifically Texas authors. And today we have with us LaRee Bryant. Welcome back, LaRee.
Thank you.
So we were talking earlier about Poppy. She loves to do her little gardening in the homes of rich people in Dallas, but also enjoys figuring out whodunit type mysteries, cozy mysteries as you've referred to them. Give us a little bit more about Poppy and this love affair that her and J.C. Tucker are going to have, or do have.
Well, it's building. They just met in book 1, and the relationship will change and grow through the different stories and the situations that they're thrown into together. Little intimacy there simply because they're having to try to be safe and try to sneak around and learn things, and so they do become attracted to each other. It will be kind of slow and easy because she's a divorced lady who had decided she really wasn't going to get involved with anybody again, but he's a little too tempting to pass up.
And with Buttercup Blues, tell us a little bit about the mystery in that one.
It has to do with a stalker and with dog nappings. And Tucker has a little puppy dog named Buttercup that he inherited from his ex-partner when he retired from the police force, and this little puppy gets him in a fair amount of trouble sometimes.
Does he get into the gardening that
he doesn't get into the garden, but he's certainly in the middle of this dog napping stuff.
And from those two books, are you currently working on your third or fourth book?
I am working on the third one. It's called Moonflower Madness, and it has to do with an imposter who comes to town and passes herself off as somebody she isn't and puts Poppy's very dear friends next door in danger.
Okay. Are you planning on continuing just with Cozy Mysteries, or are you reaching out to something else soon?
I will probably do some other kinds of mysteries. I've got another whole series plotted out that when I'm ready for a little change, I'll start on that one. I've got stories already plotted and just waiting till I get the free time to do them.
Or until you hear enough of their voices in your mind that you have no choice but to get it out?
That is true. That is very true. When I get story ideas, they sometimes just come full-blown. They are real and alive in my head and walking around and talking and want their story told.
With that in mind, talking about the process of writing and having characters grow in your mind, do you have any words of encouragement or advice for someone who wants to get started writing?
Absolutely. If they're interested in it, first thing, find a writing organization in your hometown that you can join that group and go. They have critique sessions usually. They have speakers that come and talk to them. They will know marketing information and information about New York publishing and the independent publishing, all the things that are going on in the publishing world. That'll be your first place to start learning. And then the biggest lesson to learn is sit down and start writing and finish the book.
And that's always a challenge, isn't it, to finish that book?
A lot of people get started and get halfway through and lose track, and it just sits there unfinished. But that's a really important goal.
Yes. It's what I call life happens. It distracts you from the writing.
Absolutely. Sometimes.
Go ahead, finish.
Sometimes life really does get in the way, but don't let it stop you from your writing if you really care about it.
Now, you've been writing, obviously, for a very long time. Through the process of writing, going from historical to fiction, was that a major change for you, or was that an easy shift?
Actually, it was much easier than I even thought it might be. I love the research process, and you do a lot of that with the historicals, and I found out I did a lot of it on the mysteries, too, because you need the forensics and weapons and all sorts of devious things to deal with. I find that very interesting and challenging, and it just slipped in very easily.
And that curiosity that Poppy has, that really is something from you, isn't it?
It truly is. I am the one in my circle of friends that when we hear something or stumble across some fact, I'm the first one to say, I'm going over and Google this. I want to know the rest of the story.
Has that ever gotten you into trouble?
Hadn't gotten me into trouble, but it's certainly got me some story ideas to work in.
Out of curiosity, how many story ideas are sitting in a folder waiting for you, roughly? I
would say at least 3 dozen. I've I often tease with my friends that I'll leave them stories in my will because I have too many of them that I'll never finish them before I go.
You mentioned that you've got book 3 getting ready to come out. When is that due out?
It'll be out at the end of the year.
Okay. And then your next book after that, what have you planned?
I have another Poppy book that I want to work on, but I'm also reissuing all the historicals. So I'm kind of taking turns doing a Poppy and then going in and doing a little editorial work if necessary on the historicals and getting them back out again.
And are you going to be updating them?
Yes.
So lots of more research for you.
Lots of more research, and I really like that.
And also then with Poppy, taking a little break there, that gives you time to really determine what you're going to do about the romance or other things. Is that right?
Sure. It brings other ideas in, other crimes come to mind that would make great Poppy stories, so I just make notes and put them in the file so they'll be there waiting for me.
Now you mentioned that JC Tucker is this gorgeous hunk of a ex-cop in Poppy's eyes.
Right.
Why did you make him such a gorgeous hunk?
Well, why not? There's not a lot of them walking around out there in the world, and there's not the perfect gentleman and all of the things that you'd like the guys to be a lot of times. So if I'm creating him, I get to make him anything I want him to be.
Now, realizing that, coming from a lady's perspective, that's why you've put in there that he's a gorgeous hunk. But for a man who enjoys cozy mysteries, how would you classify Poppy?
She's clever. She's fun to be with. She's interesting. She's, of course, very, very cute, and he is tempted by her.
Okay. And again, with the few minutes that we have left, please let people know where they can find your books.
Amazon has ebooks and print books.
And, of course, books.txauthors.com has the print version.
Right.
They're available in Barnes & Noble or anywhere else?
No, they're not available at Barnes & Noble now. I'm kind of waiting to see if Barnes & Noble's going to survive.
Yes, I understand that one. As far as the book signings and things like that, do you do that often?
I do. I really enjoy meeting the public and talking to people and visiting with folks. So, yeah, I do it every chance I get.
Do you have any coming up in the next few months?
Actually, I'll be in Arkansas in September for a great big music festival in the little town of Delight last weekend of September, and they have a big author turnout along with the music festival. Glenn Campbell grew up in Delight, and his family, brothers and uncles and all, are still there and still playing. It's wonderful music. It's really great people. Lots and lots of fun.
Great. And it sounds like you'll be sharing ideas and new concepts on writing with a whole bunch of authors.
Absolutely.
And that's always a lot of fun to do. Well, I thank you very much for being with us today, and we wish you the best of luck. We look forward to seeing book 3 of the Poppy Adventures, which should be out at the end of the year.
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed it.
Okay. Have a good day.
You too.
And for those of you who are still with us, we have an event coming up called Authors Marketing Event. It's July 28th through the 30th in Houston. It is the only program in the world that offers certification for authors to learn how to better market and sell themselves and their books. We do encourage you to participate. Even if you're not an author, but you just want to learn more about marketing, you are more than welcome to attend the event. Again, it is July 28th through the 30th. You can go to the website, which is authors.marketing. For those of you who like to put www in front of it, you're welcome to do so. But otherwise, you can just type in authors.marketing, and it should take you to the website where, again, you see all the different speakers we have, from TV personality, radio shows, and a whole bunch more. Learning how to break your patterns, what a brand is, learning that Amazon's not necessarily the only and best way to sell your book. Plus, as I said, so much more. It's relatively inexpensive, and we also have videos available for authors who cannot attend the event. You can sign up now at a discounted price of only $99 to have access to the videos, so you can still learn and do get certified in authors marketing. Dear Texas is Drop Everything and Read. We do have a short story contest going on right now for adults until July 31st, and then in August we're kicking off the first statewide short story contest for grades 6 through 12. We do hope you encourage your students to participate, whether they're your children or if you're a teacher, a librarian, or whatever. This will be a great contest. There will be 5 regions, so there will be winners for each of those regions, as well as a statewide winner. And the proceeds from all these books that are created from these short stories does help get books into the hands of those in need, whether it be Title I schools, individual students, and or libraries that have rural areas that they service. We definitely encourage people to participate and to purchase the books. You can find the books at books.txauthors.com. The first 2 volumes of Texas Short Stories by Texas authors are available, and we look forward to having the 3rd one available in October of this year. And finally, there is the Book Festival Network that we hope you will check out. Find out what book festival is happening in your area that will have Texas authors there. We have the Brazos Valley one coming up September 23rd, and we also have the Lone Star Book Festival, which will be in Dallas October 7th and 8th. So again, check that out. It is bookfestival.network on the website, and we thank you very much for joining us today. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you for listening to Dear Texas Radio. To learn more about Dear Texas and its literacy programs, please visit their website at deartexas.info. I am Alex Anthony, your announcer. Have a great day.